mating and all that stuff is proximity. And the thing is that I tell the same thing to the guys. You're looking for a certain type of woman. You got to figure out what type of woman what type of woman or what type of guy that you want. Where are they likely to be? And you have to put yourself, whether you get bored or not, in that environment, and they will actually be there for you to select. But the thing is, you have to get off your ass. You got to do the work. If you want a guy that's not looking for sex, because it's really difficult, because the United States actually broke the social contract, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where they can't stop it. They're tired of even trying to stop it.
I was listening to this BJS for Women stream from 6 years ago, 2017, and on this particular broadcast, you can see here is Kendra D, who blossomed into a 105K follower channel. So much congrats to her, because she's been putting in work for a very long time. And it's just this treasure trove of information. And in the span of a day, both BGS and Mumia Obsidian Ali used the term the social contract. And so I heard it and I decided to do a little surface information looking like this.
The social contract theory is a philosophy that is based on the idea of an implicit agreement between the government and the people. This agreement is based on the idea that society has certain rights, and in return, it gives up some of those rights to the government.
And this.
The social contract theory ties into our modern society by emphasizing what we owe each other as citizens. It also emphasizes how we should live together as a society and what our responsibilities are to one another.
So that is your textbook definition of the social contract. Now I want you to hear the application of how it's applied in this space.
So that's what they do. I don't do it. I know a lot of people that do exactly what Alan does. You know, they have a string of 4 or 5 women that are all married, and they bang, they rotate them and all that kind of stuff. They bang them in his house, they bang them in her house.
You probably heard it by now. I did my most recent response to Alan, and he was in, and I saw the video he did with O'Shea, and he was saying, he was basically going in on both you and me, talking about the societal piece. There is a societal piece here. You know, I did because he was whining and moaning about talking about the social contract.
Yeah.
And there is a such thing as a social contract. There is a such thing.
I'm not sure if it was the day before or the day after, or maybe even the same day, but very close to the time that you heard the first Hangout video, Obsidian released this video, and he started with this story here.
So I had a number of stomped down white feminists. Okay. I mean, stomped down white feminists. Said, Obsidian, the situation has gotten so bad, we need the men. And it kind of took me aback to hear them say that, because there's such, avowed, feminists and whatnot.
So he's talking about how he lived in a neighborhood where the crime was getting out of control, and most of the criminals were young youths that were black, and he had a mixed neighborhood, and some of the Caucasian feminists, if you will, came to him and asked him for help dealing with it.
They said, listen, we need the men to get involved here. We tried to organize a town watch. It was completely ineffective. The knuckleheads on the corner ain't going to listen to us. We're middle-aged white ladies. They ain't going to listen to us. They'll listen to the men, and particularly black men. Okay? So I said to them, well, hold on a second, Miss So-and-so and Miss So-and-so. Y'all, there's about 4 or 5 of them. I said, y'all white feminists. I thought that, y'all was, on the Gloria Steinem, I am woman, hear me roar type of thing. I mean, this is strange coming from y'all. They said, listen, we're feminists, not crazy.
So as the story went, he got involved with some other gentlemen who did something to curtail the difficulties in the neighborhood. And he continued with his story here, which is the point that I wanted to make in this video.
I was explaining this to my lady friend. I told her the only reason why I got involved in Town Watch was because of her. Now, what I'm about to say is going to be very politically incorrect, very inelegant, very impolitic. What I'm about to say. There's Brown's Beauties here, and I want to get her reaction on this if she wants to jump back in the chat or if she just wants to register her views in the chat room. But I want to say this. One of the reasons why the black community is so bereft of, for lack of a better way of putting it, strong black men is because men in general, regardless of race, Men in general don't want to be involved in a situation where they don't have their own personal. See, that's part of the social contract.
If you were wondering what the male side of the social contract is, you don't have to look very far because you can hear it most anywhere that you go.
Hi, trad man. I know a lot of y'all want a wife who stays at home and cooks and cleans all day while you're out doing whatever the hell you want, so I wanted to go over the requirements for you if you're gonna have a wife who serves you all day. Your income's gonna need to be able to cover the mortgage of a home. I know you weren't about to have her and all those children you want in the 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment you live in right now, so you will need to be able to cover the cost of a home. You'll need to be able to cover a clothing fee because your wife and your kids shouldn't be wearing clothes from 5 years ago. They should be able to, you know, purchase new clothes every now and then while you're doing whatever. An entertainment fee because while you're at your work dinners and hanging out with the bros at the bar after work, your wife and your children deserve to go to the movies or the mall every now and then as well. And since I'm sure you want a hot wife, you'll have to cover her nail appointments, her hair appointments, and all of her makeup. See, trad men have this vision. They want this wife who serves them all day and all these other stuff, and they don't make enough income to support that. Get your job together, boo.
You don't have to look far on TikTok to see what the traditional roles of the man should be and should continue to be. As part of the social contract, of course, that means if a guy does that, what does he get back? As explained by BGS and Obsidian. And this is where Obsidian precisely predicts Passport Bros.
Part of the deal is that you get your own you get your own woman who you own sexually, and that means that you got buy-in into the society now. You give a damn what happens to your society because you got your own woman in it. But when you ain't got your own woman in it, you don't give a fuck about the rest of society. You know what you do? You look out for number one. That's it. You do everything that's necessary to look out for yourself, and it don't go no further than that.
Obsidian has his way with words, but he's spot on. If you don't find a way to make men that are working hard and are productive to invest in the community, what is there for them to stay for?
I said when a man doesn't have his own personal, okay, he does not have a reason to give a damn about society anymore. He's not going to be the guy who's dealing with Little League and the Police Athletic League and Pee-wee football and doing community projects and all the rest of it. This is the reason why I talk about the community units. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. I talked about the community units piece. And recently, last year rather, I did a podcast talk called Why I Refuse to Be the Cleanup. You cannot ask men who don't have their own personal invested in that particular community to go and risk their lives for that community. It doesn't work like that.
You talking about?
That's not the social contract.
You'll often find content of people saying, why are Passport Bros going overseas gloating? Why don't they just go over quietly and just not gloat about what they're doing? And the reason why is because if you grow up thinking, if I work hard, if I do everything right, if I get a decent job, the other side of it is I'm going to get a doting wife who's going to cooperate with me and build a family with me. And when guys understand that, no, that contract is kind of one-sided, of course, when guys realize that and they go overseas, guys are going to gloat. Because before the gloating comes the, I don't understand why things aren't as I was told they were going to be. I was told if I did everything right, that I was going to have the life that my great-grandparents had. And when guys realize that's not the case, there's a period of mourning. And then after guys get over that mourning, they gloat. Because apparently some of the things that were promised to guys who were on the up and worked hard simply aren't there. At least not where we came from. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you guys next video. Take care, guys.